Hi, I'm Amy O'Donnell, the Communications Director at Texas Alliance for Life, and I'm standing here today outside the George H.W. Bush building with Sue Liebel, the Director of State Affairs with Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life America. And we and several other organizations were here today for the Texas Medical Board hearing, where on the agenda, they put forth the agenda item to consider rulemaking to guide physicians about the medical exception language in Texas pro-life laws. Sue, you're not from Texas, but you follow a lot of these issues in states across the United States. Tell me, what brought you here today? Why was this important enough for you to take the time to come?
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. We have been trying to impress upon states, whether it's the legislature or whether it's the governor's office and the licensing board, that states need to adopt this kind of guidance. We call it medical education to show that women can get life-saving care. That overturn of Roe versus Wade did not impact that. In fact, we did a study of all 50 states, all 50, even pro-choice, pro-life states. Not one of them has a law that would preclude life-saving medical care. And so it's very hard to watch the medical community make it sound like it can, and women are being harmed.
And we are pro-life and we are pro-woman.
Yes.
And we are pro-women getting the care that they need when they face life of the mother exception situation or a risk of substantial impairment of a major bodily function. And that's what our law addresses. And we see in Texas specifically that 71 abortions have been tracked in our induced terminations of pregnancy report, specifically for women facing life-threatening conditions. That is an exception that Texas Alliance for Life advocates for in every bill that we work for passage on in the Texas legislature, and we stand behind that. We firmly believe in the life of the mother exception. And today we testified in favor of rulemaking by the board to help any physicians who are unclear about the clarity of the language in our laws, which in fact has been in law for the last 10 years. The same language has been in place since 2013 and the passage of the Prenatal Protection Act at that time. So it's not even new language that doctors are navigating. We know that not all doctors are confused about the law because these 71 procedures have taken place to save the life of the mother or to prevent risk of impairment of a major bodily function, while at the same time reported elective abortions have gone down to zero since Dobbs all the way through October of 2023, which is the last month that we have data. So we know that not all doctors are confused. We know that the language in our law is clear, but we're seeing misinformation in the media. We're seeing misinformation put forth even by doctors themselves. And we do want to clear up any confusion that may be out there. Is there anything you want to share about that?
I really picked up, being in the meeting today, I really picked up that the folks who didn't agree with us were trying to really stretch that to be when the baby has an issue.
Right.
And while that is a heartbreaking situation, that is not an exception in the law. The law is very clear about that. And so I think it's an attempt maybe to circumvent the legislature and try to get the medical board to do that. I don't know. But that's kind of what I picked up today, is that those were situations that really weren't about the mother's life.
Right.
So, again, tragic, but not the same thing, at least under the law.
Well, and we even saw in the case of Kate Cox that has been publicized in national media. She even attended the State of the Union address as a guest of the Bidens. We saw in the Kate Cox case the misinformation perpetuated around that, where they want to say that a mother with a child with a life-limiting diagnosis might also face a risk in her pregnancy that warrants abortion to save her life when she doesn't fit within the medical exception in our law. And it's very sad to see that. We know the truth is that they're trying to broaden the exceptions to disability babies, also babies facing fatal anomalies or life-limiting diagnoses. And so we know that there's a little bit of an agenda there.
I think so.
Yeah.
I really picked that up being here in person.
Right.
But we want to make sure that states all across the country can serve women by clarifying this.
Yes.
And we also think it's important in those ballot states, states with the ballot initiative, that would make abortion on demand up until birth, the other side uses this as a
Right.
as a scare tactic.
Yes,
So we want to make sure that doesn't happen in selected states as well. So
absolutely.
I'm glad I was here this morning. I thought that the medical board showed a lot
Mhm.
of fairness in taking the comments. Of course, they
Right.
haven't acted yet. I haven't read the draft. I'm looking
Mhm.
forward to that. But I felt like the process really went well today.
I was very encouraged to hear the board say that they can't go beyond what the law allows. They can
Yeah.
only issue rules for what the law allows right now.
Right.
And so, where we saw testimony today asking for exceptions, broadening what's available in our Texas pro life laws, we feel like the board has a good handle on that. And we're very encouraged to see them addressing this issue. We've long been saying that the Texas Medical Board does need to provide clarification to clear up any confusion that might be out there. We know the language of the law is clear, but we know that physicians still in some cases are confused. We want to clear that up because we want every woman to receive optimal medical care. And we even see in some cases women in that room did not, and that
I
breaks
know
our heart.
it was heartbreaking.
Yeah,
Yeah, the medical community failed them. The women
right.
that were in the room today.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And I don't think they were really aware of that.
right.
And it was just heartbreaking to hear.
Yeah,
So these are hard issues all the
These
way
are.
around. This is hard policy to make, but it's important because lives are at stake.
and today was a step forward in the right direction. And so we're encouraged by what we're seeing. We're going to stay on top of it and see, what is put forth today, and then continue with the process to see what unfolds. But we do believe that the ball is rolling in the right direction, and we're glad to be a part of it, and we're glad to
Yeah.
have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be with you.
Absolutely.